Welcome to all of you. Here we are going to start with the module 5, which is going to have a description about the optical networks. Various topics covered under this optical networks is being listed over here. Before getting into the actual concept, let us go through some of the terminologies. SDH stands for Synchronous Digital Hierarchy, SONET Synchronous Optical Network, OBS Optical Burst Switching, OPS Optical Packet Switching, OCS Optical Circuit Switching. So let us start with the introduction. So this diagram shows the various generation with respect to the optical network, which is also the evolution part of the optical network. So in the first generation, it made use of the SDH and the SONET, which are point-to-point communication. In continuation, in the second generation, it made use of the wavelength routing. In the third generation, it made use of the optical burst switch and the optical circuit switching. In the future upcoming type of networking, it is expected that the optical network may use a combination of the optical circuit switching and optical packet switching, treated as the hybrid switching or an individually optical packet switching. This diagram shows a typical optical network structure. Here in this diagram, these circles indicate the optical nodes, the solid lines indicate the optical fiber link. These dashed lines, two types of dashed lines are being indicated. So these are going to indicate the light paths and the logical links. Now let us go through these things individually. So let us start with the optical node. So what is this optical node? So optical node is a multi-function element. So it is always treated as an active element in the network. It can receive, it can transmit, and it can process the optical signals. Now getting into these fibers. So here we can observe that an optical fiber is providing a point-to-point connection between the neighboring nodes. Point-to-point connection between the neighboring nodes. In case if you want to make a transmission from this particular node, which is at the leftmost side, to another which is at the right bottom side, in such a case there is no point-to-point communication. In such a case, we need to establish a path, so that what we can observe in this dashed lines that has been traversed over so many nodes, and then finally it has reached to this node. And this path we call it as a logical link between one source node to the another end, the destination node. So this dashed line is going to indicate the logical link. Now coming to this concept of light path. If from source to the destination same wavelength is being used for transmission purpose, such with respect to a typical optical network, what all I explained in the previous slide, so everything is being listed in terms of words in this slide. The fundamentals of optical networking is divided into three broad categories. First one, optical networking terminology. Second one, functions and types of optical network node. Third one, switching elements and WDM optical networks. Let us go through one after the another. Let us start with the first one, optical networking terminology. So these are the various terminologies that we are going to discuss. Network topology, network architecture, network modes, network switching modes, virtual circuits, network routing, modularity, and scalability. Now let us take one after the another, starting with the first one, network topology. The network topology. Now here we can observe the various types of network topology. Now, on what basis we are going to define this topology? Based on the structure of the network or the interconnection of the nodes, we are going to define various types of topologies. So here we can observe four different types of topologies. So A, that stands for the bus topology, B is the ring topology, C is the star topology, D is the mesh topology. So the structure itself says what is the type of the topology here. Now starting with the first one, A. So in the bus topology, there will be a common line going here at the center, and on the either side we are going to have the nodes. In case of ring topology, it will have a ring structure. So from one node to the another node, there will be a dedicated path, and that will keep connecting to one another and forming a circular manner. In case of star topology, there will be a center node from which to all other nodes there will be a individual connection, so forming a star-like structure. In case of mesh topology, so it appears on the outer side as a ring topology, but whereas in case of internally, each one of these nodes are having point to point connection with each another node present in the complete network. So for example, if we take this node, here we can observe on either side of the node we are having this dedicated connection to the next one, to the next one, and here to the other nodes which are not directly connected via the other path. Here we can observe this connection. So one more direct path, one more direct path, one more direct path. That means each and every node is having a point to point connection with every other node present in the network. This is what the mesh topology we are going to have. Coming to the network architecture. In order to transfer the data from source to the destination, we need certain type of architecture. We call that as the reference model, usually a multi-layered structure which is going to perform the transmission of the data from the source towards the destination. That is what a reference model we are going to call. Since it is going to have multi layers, each layer is being dedicated to perform one particular job with respect to the communication. So for example, if the layer 1 is going to perform say encryption for example, and on the receiver end the layer 1 must also perform the decryption. So that means point to point operation we are going to have. So that is what the network architecture is going to provide the facility with respect to the communication. So let us go through these wordings. This provides the implementation of networking functionalities in different layers of reference model. So what I told, the layered architecture. Each layer performs a related set of functionalities related to communication. That means every layer is dedicated to perform one particular set of functionality which will not be repeated in another layers, or which may not be repeated in another layer. Third point, the ultimate purpose is to produce a network that is physically and operationally connected. Last one, major functionality of optical network physical layer is to provide appropriate routing and switching strategies within optical multiplexed networks. Coming to network modes. So along with the network modes, I am also going to explain the network switching modes. Under this, we are going to have the connection oriented and the connectionless. So these two terminologies are based on the type the communication is established between the source and the destination. Now let us take the first one, the connection oriented. In case of connection oriented service, a dedicated path is established from source to the destination. It is going to involve three different steps. In the first step, the path from source to the destination is identified and the handshaking signal is done between source and the destination. In the second step, the transmission of data is going to happen between source and the destination. The third stage, the dedicated connection, that means after the completion of the data transmission, the dedicated connection is going to terminate, and that same connection can be made use by the nodes for some other connection. And also it must be identified properly that till there is a connection between or the data transmission between source to the destination, no other nodes or the connections can be established by making use of the same path. That means there will be a dedicated path between the source and the destination until the completion of the data transfer. So this is called the connection oriented service. Coming to the connectionless service. In this case, there will be no dedicated connection between the source and the destination, but still the data transmission is going to happen. Since there is no dedicated connection, there is no word of handshaking or termination of the connection. So now how it is going to happen? So if we take a source and the destination, there is a possibility of several paths from source to the destination. So the transmission of the data is going to happen in terms of the packets. Each packet is numbered sequentially, and once it has been placed over the network, each packet can take its own way to travel towards the destination. So once it reaches to the destination, in the destination, based on the sequence number, they are aligned, decoded, and it will be used by the destination. So in order to do this, the destination must have sufficient amount of buffer, because first packet may arrive first, second packet may not arrive second. So due to the delay in the networking or the path it is going to traverse, it may take more time. Therefore, at the receiver set, there must be enough buffer to hold this data, and then it can be decoded. So this type of connection is known as the connectionless service. So remember, in case of connectionless, there will be no dedicated path. That is what we mean for connectionless service. Network switching modes. Conceptually, I've already explained this in the previous slide. So there are two types we are going to have: the circuit switching and the packet switching. First one, circuit switching, it is connection oriented. So what is the meaning of connection oriented? There will be a dedicated path from source to the destination for the transmission of the data. So once the completion of that data transmission, that will be terminated and can be made use by some other sources for the transmission of the data. So circuit switching and connection oriented are always in combination. Now coming to the packet switching. So packet switching and the connectionless will be usually in combination, but this packet switching can also be implemented by making use of connection oriented service. Since it is going to work in terms of connectionless services, obviously it is going to work better in case of connection oriented services also. So that is what we are going to have: circuit switching and the packet switching modes of. Coming to the virtual circuits. So this virtual circuits corresponds to these logical connections between the sending and the receiving devices. Now how it is going to work like? Now as we discussed previously itself, between source and destination there is a possibility of several routes, and at any given instant of time one path can be used for the communication between the source and the destination, and in the next instant itself that path may get changed. In simple words, we can say that incoming route may not be equal to the outgoing route. So instantly it may keep changing the routes based on the availability. Now in this one, as a special case, there is something called the switched virtual circuit. So that's the last point is going to represent switched virtual circuits. So what it means for on demand, there may be a dedicated path from source to the destination, and after the completion of the data transmission, that will be released instantaneously. That special case, we call that as the switched virtual circuits. Coming to network routing. In any network architecture, routing plays a very important role. So this is responsible for a proper shortest path establishment between the source and the destination. Usually, node will be assigned with the responsibility of the routing, since the node is going to act like an active device. It is going to have the information about what is the type of the topology it is present, which is the immediate next node it is going to have, and what may be the possible path selection that it can take to forward the data available. So now coming to this one, a simple routing process known as the control plane consists of three stages. One is the neighborhood discovery. The nodes identify the immediate neighbors and their connection to the neighboring nodes. Second one, topology discovery. A node discovers all other nodes in the network and how they are connected to each other. So from one network to the another network, the topology may vary. Therefore, identifying the topology is also very important. The last one, path selection, computes shortest path and uses the routing protocols. So there are too many paths available from source to the destination. So path selection refers to identifying the shortest path for the data to transmit from source to the destination. Let us go through the modularity and the scalability. The definition for the modularity. Modularity defines the characteristics of a network which allows addition or deletion of networking nodes in a modular fashion. It allows wavelength reuse without causing any wavelength conflict. So let us go with this first point. So what is this addition and the deletion of the nodes to the network? So in any kind of network, there is a possibility that we can just add up a system for that. So 10 existing nodes are there, and we want to extend that, and we will make it equal to 15. So 5 more are being added. So that has to be identified, and that has to be joined to the network in a proper fashion. And in case if we delete a network, then there must be path proper establishment, identification of the path from the existing nodes to some continuation of that node. So in such cases, it must happen in a proper manner with a proper fashion. There must be no disconnection, or it must going to happen. In such cases, this modularity is going to work out. Now coming to the scalability. Scalability is the property of a network which enables it to progressively accommodate large number of nodes and end users systems without incurring excessive overheads. So if any number of systems being added, it must keep identifying those systems, and it must not provide any overheads in order to identify or the transmission of the data. So that is what we mean for the scalability. So let us stop this lecture at this instant.